Welcome into another episode of Tailgate Talk SEC. I am Will Thomas, and today I've got a bit of a fun one. We're going to be going through the CFB 27, the video game, the ratings and their top 10 for each position group, and highlighting which SEC guys made that list. Now, the game comes out, I think it's early July, so obviously I'll be spending a lot of time on that game, doing way less work, but it'll be a lot of fun. And it's just fun to look at these position lists and really see how, obviously EA is a video game company, but how they analyze the talent, who they believe can be some of the best players in the country this fall. So going through just positionally, starting off at quarterbacks, the SEC had four guys who cracked the top 10 list of quarterbacks in the sport. Trinidad Chambliss topped the conference. He was the third highest overall quarterback in the game, coming in at 93 overall. Now, obviously, Chambliss being able to come back for this year was massive for Ole Miss, including him being, per EA, the best quarterback in the SEC is a pretty big deal. Then Arch Manning made the cut as well. He is the sixth overall rated quarterback with a rating of 91. Sam Levitt from LSU on that list. He was the eighth highest quarterback rated in the country with a 90. And John Mateer also made that cut, the 10th overall quarterback in the game with an 89 overall rating. So obviously those are four really, really good guys. But you think about, maybe Marcel Reed, Gunnar Stockton, some of those players who didn't quite make that cut. Obviously, we're talking about video game ratings, so they don't mean very much, but it's just kind of interesting to look at, who didn't quite make that cut of being the top 10 in the country, even though they are some really good players. And then moving on to the running back room here, another Ole Miss guy at the top. Keiwan Lacey is the top running back in the game. He's a 96 overall, and Ahmad Hardy is right there with him. He's also a 96 overall player. Both those running backs are two of the best in the entire country, so it's good to see that they got the rating they deserve there. Then Jaden Ball, he was 7th in the country at a 91. I got no problem rating Jaden Ball below the other two running backs. He is hands down better than the seventh best running back in the country, and he should be rated a little bit higher. But then Nate Frazier comes in at number 10 from Georgia. He is a 90 overall in the video game. Going into the wide receiver room now, Cam Coleman is rated as the top receiver in the SEC. He was the third best receiver, in the country with a 92 overall rating. Ryan Coleman Williams came in at number 6 on that list at a 91 overall, and Mario Craver of A&M was the seventh best receiver in the country, coming in with a 91 overall rating as well. Then at tight end, the SEC had two players featured. One of them was Trey'Dez Green, who is the top tight end, the highest rated one in the game. He is a 92 overall for LSU. And then Luke Hasz of Ole Miss, he was the ninth rated tight end in the game, coming in with a rating of 87. And then the offensive tackles, 6 SEC tackles made the list of the top 10 in the country. Starting off, Caden Green was rated as the second best with a 96 overall rating. Trevor Gooseby of Texas was the third best at 94. Jordan Seaton, the fourth best at 93. Ernest Green, the fifth best at 92. David Sanders was number 9 at an 88 overall. And Jacarius Peak of South Carolina was number 10 at an 88 overall. So the offensive tackles in the SEC, if you've gone through rosters, you've obviously already seen some really big names, and these ratings prove that. I mean, the SEC has some of the best overall lines in the country, but especially those star offensive tackles, SEC has 6 of the top 10 according to EA. But then what's interesting is you move inside to guard, they had 0 players. There were 0 SEC guards who cracked the top 10 in the country, and only 2 centers. One of them was Drew Bobo from Georgia. He was the number 7 overall center with an 89 rating, and Colton Price of Kentucky was the 10th highest center, rated at 88. So for as many offensive tackles the SEC had up there, there weren't that many interior linemen, only 2 total from the SEC that broke the top 10. So, scouting report, tackles are strong, inside is a little bit weaker, but that was a really interesting trend to me, I thought. Flipping over to defense, coming off the edge, SEC has some demons. Colin Simmons was rated as the top edge rusher in the game. He has a 95 overall rating. Dylan Stewart of South Carolina, number 3, coming off the edge at a 93. Then Yanze Pierre of Alabama, he was rated as the 8th highest one at 91. And Quincy Rhodes of Arkansas cracked the top 10 at a 90. So the Hogs, this is their only player on this list. Quincy Rhodes coming off the edge. Good to see them featured. But just some absolute demons coming off the edge. And then moving inside to D-tackle, David Stone, rated as the top defensive tackle with a 94 rating. Will Eccles of Ole Miss was the third highest one at 92. And Jamarius Brown of Ole Miss as well, number 8 at 89. So Ole Miss has 2 D-tackles in the top 10 in the country per EA. Then going back to linebacker, we've got another Ole Miss guy featured here. Centarian Perkins. He is 92, and that's number 1 in the country. And right behind him, number 2 is Rasheem Biles of Texas. Both those two guys are rated 92 overall, and they're the top 2 linebackers in the country according to EA. And then Xavier Atkins of Auburn, he was 7th in the country at 91, and Whit Weeks of LSU, number 10 there, coming in with a rating of 90. Going back to the secondary now, of the corners. Dabrian Brown, top of the SEC, third in the country with a rating of 92. Kelly Jones of Mississippi State, their best player maybe on that entire team, is the fifth highest rated corner in the game at a 91 overall. And Ellis Robinson, the fourth of Georgia, comes in as the ninth best corner at a 90 overall. Then at safety, another Bulldog here. KJ Bolden is the top safety in the game with a 95 overall rating. Bray Hubbard is the second best safety in the game at 94. Then Jelani McDonald of Texas is down there at number 9 with a 90 overall rating. And Keon Sabb was number 10 in the country with a 90 overall as well. So obviously these ratings, they don't really tell us that much about, what's going to happen on the field. Right, that's what all the tape is for. It's just a fun little exercise to go through what EA thinks of those guys and just how highly rated these players are from people who, to their credit, they do know how to identify talent and how to rate players. They've been doing this for years. So sure, it's a video game, but it absolutely does represent how good these players are. What I disagree with, I do believe that Arch is going to be a better player than Trinidad Chambliss. He was rated 2 overalls below him, but based on what we've seen, I have no problem. What I said is a projection. Based on what we've seen, Chambliss is over Arch. At running back, I do think Jaden Ball should be a little bit higher. I think he is much better than a 91 overall player. And defensively, I think they got it right. The SEC has some of the best players in the front seven. They have the top edge rusher, the top D tackle, and the top 2 linebackers. And then in the secondary, Bama, they had 3 guys, each of the top 10 of their position. I've talked about how much I love Bama's secondary. That made a ton of sense to me. So obviously with this game coming out soon, it will be a fun way for most people to get to know these teams, these rosters, these players a little bit better. Like it really can be used as a tool to get yourself used to whether it's your favorite team, teams in your conference, all that. So it really, obviously it's fun and it's good for research purposes, which is how I'll be spending it too when I play a whole lot of the game. So thank you so much for watching this episode of Toge Talk SEC. If you have been enjoying, just this little fun video, but also all of the daily coverage I'm doing until we kick off, subscribe to me here and follow me on Twitter. Daily football content until Tony Slater in August. So I've been Will Thomas, and I will see you next time.